I would like to use this opportunity to tell them that they shouldn't see themselves as coming to Russia with a kind of the West propaganda going on, and especially with the Ukraine-Russia war. Russia isn't safe. Russia is very safe. Everybody is going on doing his or her normal daily activities. Everything is okay. And also I want to just tell them that they should see this opportunity as they embark on their journey. It's not just to enhance their knowledge and skills, but also to transform their experience that will shape their perspective and open their horizons. And I also want to share that as they prepare to take their significant step, there are important aspects to consider. That from application process to maintaining legal status in the Russia. So I'll just go through some of the things that they need to know before they finally arrive into Russia. So first, I'll talk about the application, and then I would want them to pay close attention to the admission requirements, and then their kind of the requirement of their institution they want to apply to. They have to know the academic records, the language they use in teaching, because some of the students here, I think they are being taught in English and some are also being taught in Russian language. So they have to familiarize themselves with that. And then also their personal statement, and then they should organize and start the application process well in time. I mean, far advanced, so that will give them an ample time to also rest, so that they wouldn't stress themselves at the last minute time. And then their visas and then their passports. So yeah, they should make sure once they are being accepted in the school, the next stage they should take is their visa application. They should do that earlier to give them more time to also start packing, preparing themselves to come to study in Russia. And then they should also make sure that their passport is up to date. Their passport is up to date, because when you come here, I think once your passport expires, they won't issue new visa for you. They'll ask you to go back, and then doing the passport here, because of the sanction, we are unable to do it for Ghanaians on time because it goes through a lot of process. So should always update themselves with their passports expiring dates and everything. And I also touch on their financial planning. That is, they should plan very well, and then with their finances, because here they are here on their own, or even if they are here with a scholarship, I think the scholarship provide them with something, but also they have to plan their finances, because they'll be going to school, taking transport, living expenses and everything. So they should plan their finances very well. And I also talk about the culture awareness and then adaptation. So I would just ask them to embrace the new culture that can be exciting and challenging. They should familiarize themselves with the local custom, tradition, and then social norms. And then I think if they do that, it will also help them integrate into the community, but also make them overall have experience and more enjoyable space and everything. And they should also be open-minded, respectful, and willing to adapt different ways of life. And also go with the academic responsibilities. And yeah, with academic responsibilities, that I think they should attend class regularly, engage with their professors and classmates, and then meet academic expectation. And then they should also establish good habits and maintenance, good habits, maintenance, balance between academic and social life. And then I think their health, they should take their health very serious here, because the weather is a bit challenging here. That's the only thing here. So apart from that, everything is okay here. And then I'll just conclude by saying that they should be well organized, respecting local culture, and then fulfilling the academic responsibility. And then they should also remember that this journey is not just about academic achievement, but also personal growth and cultural exchange. So without much ado, I'll just wish them all the best on their exciting journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Terrakompa. If there will be any, okay, for now, if there will be any questions, please kindly note them down. When each of the speakers have come to present, then the questions will be directed to each speaker. So now I would like to introduce Mr. Waperi, from the president of the Ghanaian community here in Russia. If he's up here, Mr. Waperi. Okay. We can kindly wait for a minute or so. Okay, if anyone has a question for Mr. Terry Okwampa, please kindly raise up your hands as we wait for Mr. Waperi to share his presentation. Hello, please, do you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay,
please, I'd
you
like
can
to
ask.
Okay, thank you. Apart from getting a scholarship to study in Russia, what are some of the opportunities that you get when you finish your studies? Would you get a job and other stuff, or you have to come back home? Are there opportunities in Russia, just like the countries we know in the West, like Canada, USA, etc.?
Please, Mr. Terry, can you address this question, or maybe?
Okay, thank you very much. So there are opportunities here as well. So once you're done with studies and then you see any opportunity, like maybe a work you would want to, you can apply for it. There are a lot of opportunities out here when you come. We have a Ghanaian community here. They are here. All of them are working. So there are more opportunities here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please, are there any more questions? If so, kindly raise your hand or just ask the question. All right, please, you can ask the question.
And please, can Mr. Terry elaborate more on the Russian year abroad, the collaboration with the University of Ghana year abroad in Russia? How it works, the opportunities, and then those who go for year abroad, what do they have in store for them after they are done with the 1 year study in Russia?
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, so to my understanding of the year abroad in Russia, it's a 1 year program. It's an exchange program. So Russia brings students from Ghana to Russia to study the language. It's mostly with the language. And then they also take people to Ghana to also learn from them. So it's an exchange program, and it's basically on language. That is my understanding of the year of language. But if you are talking about opportunity in that aspect, then I think once you are done with the language, I think the visa they give you is 1 year, so you can go back to Ghana, reapply, and then you come back. Once you get a visa, you come back, and then maybe you can start by teaching in the Russian schools.
Okay.
I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, please, are there any more questions so that we can move to our next speaker?
And please, do you need to be proficient, very, very proficient in the Russian language before you can survive in Russia?
Mr. Terry, please.
Yes, please. Please, yeah, can you repeat your question again for me, please?
you need to be really, really proficient in the Russian language before you'll be able to survive in Russia.
No, no, no,
Since
no,
they
no,
speak English.
no, no. You don't have to. You don't have to. I can say for myself, I've been here for just 5 months, and because you can see, I'm doing very well. So you don't really need to be um very distant with the language before you can survive in Russia.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Please, my question is that unfortunately I couldn't come online very early because of some network issues. So I wanted you to highlight what you discussed earlier, just a summary of it for me.
Okay, so
The
this
question is still
yeah, so I only touch on a few things I think you will need to do before you come, and when you come, what you need to do. That has to do with your application process, and then the visa and passports. I mean, the renewal of your visa and then your passport whilst you are staying here, and then financial planning. You planning your finances very well so that you will be very comfortable here, and then some of the cultural awareness you need to know here, and then academic responsibilities, and then your health. That was the only thing I really talked about. Please, am I clear?
yes,
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, are there any more questions so that I can move to the next speaker?
please, my last question.
Okay. So, you have another question?
Yes, please, my last question. Please,
Okay, okay.
are there opportunities for Ghanaians who come and study the Russian language in the Russian embassy or the affairs of the government in Russia? Let's say those who do political science and government and other courses in relation with the Russian language. Should they get chances to work with the government or something like that?
Please come again with your question. I want to understand you well.
My question is, Ghanaians who combine the Russian language, let's say Russian and political science, Russian and sociology, Russian and accounting, how are they able to get opportunities to work with the embassy or the government in the Ghanaian government in Russia or our representation in Russia?
Okay, so thank you. So the embassy here do not employ Ghanaians here. They don't do employment here. All employments are done in Ghana, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we are all coming from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to work here. So the embassy here doesn't employ people here. I mean Ghanaians here. And then we have a period of 7 term here. We serve for a term and then we go back, and then some people come to replace us. That's how the system works here. So we don't do employment here.
Okay.
But if you want employment outside here, maybe the embassy can give you an introductory letter to the workplace, to where you are working, where you want to work, to indicate that yes, you are a national, and then you completed school with this certificate, and then yes, that's what the embassy can do that for you. The embassy is here for Ghanaians, to assist Ghanaians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Terry. So we're moving on to our next speaker. Then later on, we'll take any extra question. I think I saw a question in the chat where it says that are there scholarships in Russia for students who want to read masters in psychology what's the process if there is, and then other things. But I'll let another speaker talk about such things, and also Mr. Terry if he needs to come in. My another speaker is Miss Sandra, who is the current Nuke's Vice President. Miss Sandra, if you're on, please kindly show yourself.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much, Honorable Akosia. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, but your line is not that clear.
Okay, give me a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Can you hear me,
please.
please? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening once again to everybody joining from Russia and from all around the world and from Ghana as well. So basically, I'm Sandra Mel, and I'm the Vice President for Nuke. And I would like to do a little bit of a presentation of Nuke and what we do, basically. So I'll do a little bit of a short presentation. If you can see my screen, please let me know. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. So basically, Nukes Russia is more like the short form for National Union of Communist Students in Russia, and Nukes is known to be a core representative of the student body within the Russian territory or within the Russian Federation. So Nukes is known basically to enhance or to help the state members, mostly within the Russian territory, to be able to like have a very good like economic well-being, social well-being, academic well-being, and everything. So we as NUCs, we are one union or one student body that ensure that every student within the Russian Federation is able to it's more like bringing Ghana to Russia, having a home within Russia, that is having Ghana in Russia basically. So we all know that NUCs stands for education is a right and not in a privilege basically. And I'll go to my next slide, which basically shows. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to give something very short or say something very short about Nukes in general, Nukes Russia in general. So Nukes Russia is more like Ghanaian students who are in the diaspora within the Russian Federation, and they find a community where they belong to. You know, when someone goes somewhere, they say, "I'm looking for a safe place or a place where I feel like I belong." Nukes Russia is actually the place for Ghanaian students when they come to Russia, for them to feel like they belong to the Ghanaian community. But Nuke in general it consists of only the student body within Russia. It's quite different from the Ghanaian community in Russia. The Ghanaian community mostly deals with students who are people who are not done, who are literally done with school, actually. So Nuke Russia is more like a democratic, independent, and progressive Ghanaian mass movement of Ghanaian students in the Russian Federation. And actually, we actually embark on the progressive and the democratic ideals and principles of all Ghanaian students within the Russian Federation. We also embrace on sound leadership and social progress of our student bodies basically. And NUCs actually that consists of the executives. We have the president, the vice president, we have the general secretary, the financial secretary, and the organizing secretary. So this group of people, they ensure that the union is moving, the union is working, and the union is catering for the needs of every Ghanaian student within the Russian Federation. So, with respect to the right and freedom of conscience of its members, I can say that Lux Russia deals with regards to protecting and safeguarding the rights and interests of all Ghanaian students in the Russian Federation. Um, Interestingly, we do have the local union, and the local union are within each state of the Russian Federation. Russia is known to be a very, very big country, and so there's an application of Ghanaian local executive that ensures that every Ghanaian student is being heard when there is a problem or situation. Um, it could be the Far East region, it could be within regions that is quite far or further from, let's say, the capital of Russia. NUMS is also responsible for promoting cooperation, understanding, and friendship between students of Ghana in Russia and other students within Russia. Now, basically, Nooks Russia want to ensure that not only Ghanaian students come together, but also students within from different countries they come together to be able to promote, let's say, their cultural heritage, or to make sure that people know about where they come from. More like forming an intercultural relationship, not only between Ghanaian students, but also between Ghanaian students and students from different countries. Okay. So the next one is we ensure that we inculcate in students a high sense of discipline and active participation, and a sense of evolutionary awareness of our cultural heritage, and offer the means by which we can advance this heritage. So, for instance, there can be an intercultural connection between maybe Ghanaian students and students from Nigeria, or Ghanaian students and students from other African countries. This is mainly to promote the interest of the student body within the Russian Federation. And finally, we also seek the advancement that's more like advancing the concept of Pan-Africanism, and to foster unity among Ghanaian students and other students of African descent in Russia and the world at large. Alright, so Nooks Russia is known to have its own commitment. So we mainly, most importantly, we ensure that our students out within the Russian Federation, basically, they are having a very comfortable life, yeah, and also they are excelling academically, emotionally, like in every aspect of their life. Because a student can't have a good academic lifestyle if their social well-being is very bad, or their social well-being is not progressive at all, or their economic well-being is not progressive. So first of all, our commitment is to keep the vibrant atmosphere of the Ghanaian community by rendering services to its members, to provide an unprecedented support to all its members during times of difficulty. And also, the Nook Russia is mostly known to provide accurate and timely important information on all platforms, and also showing a sense of commitment and accountability to it, like to the student body within the Russian Federation. So, as you can see, we have something known. One of our commitments is the National Congress, which is actually one of the most popular social gathering of within the Nooks Russia. And also, we want one of our main aim is to ensure that students have a sense of like vibrant atmosphere where, let's say, there's a connection between perspectives, there's a connection between ideas, and that is when we decide as a union to form this social gathering called YOLO, which usually happens mostly every weekend or every Saturdays, that we discuss about life issues or being a student literally in the Russian Federation. And also, we as a union also we want to ensure that our students have they are able to still connect with people from home. Um, and also we are able to render service to students between people in Ghana and between the students here in Russia. So mostly we decided to bring up some services to make life very easier for students, which is known as a Nook cargo service, to be able to transport parcels and goods from Russia to Ghana and vice versa, and also to ensure that there's a transfer of money, which is known as the Momo money or the Momo transfer. So further details can be seen when you go to the website of Nuke Russia. And also to ensure that there's a form of transparency within the union. Basically, we have embarked something called the State of the Union's address, where the president is giving the opportunity or the platform to give accountability to with regards to the commitment of executives or the progress of the union in general. Um, so as I think earlier on there was a short discussion with regards to scholarship and getting access to maybe educational support. So the first aspect, I do understand that a lot of people are quite familiar with the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, which they are known to provide 100% scholarship, or they are known to provide 100% assistance to students who are going through maybe financial problems, or they may be going through financial challenges. But it's not that's not the only known scholarship within Ghana or in Ghana. Basically, we have the Get Fund Scholarship Program, and when you look at it, so looking at the page, you see the website. So you want to be a part of the Ghana Scholarship team. You can always log in, um, try to sign up using the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat website, through the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat website, sign up and then follow the steps in applying for a scholarship. And I'm not going to lie, this is a first step. It's very fair. It's very they provide a lot of students, a lot of Ghanaian students with assistance. So it's quite difficult for a Ghanaian student to say that I'm in Russia and I'm going through financial difficulty and I'm not having any support. The Ghana Scholarship Secretariat is able to provide support and assistance to students, mostly in the educational aspect. Um, so that they'll be able to have a very good academic lifestyle without having any more like emotional, or without having any more like um problems with regards to their life or with regards to anything concerning more like to be able to have a very good academic lifestyle basically. And then the next one is the Russian government scholarship. So we have the education in Russia and the open doors, which apparently started not long ago. And we also have the Get Fund Scholarship Program, and you have the Ghana Gas Scholarship. So these are a series of scholarship that gives students the platform. It can be masters, it can be undergraduate, it can be postgraduate. It goes throughout all sector. So no one is limited to financial aid, basically. It's always very important for people to always connect with Nutrasha. And these are a series of social media platforms where people can connect with us. Um, um, as a union, it is very mandatory for us to basically connect with the student body in Russia, or maybe a student body who may be still being Ghana and they're not yet within the federation. So these are our websites and these are our social media platforms. So in case you have any questions, being it how, or maybe you need help or something, you can always stay in connection with us or stay in touch with us, and we'll be able to help you in any other way and any other possibility. So in general, I can say that Looks Russia is a vibrant community, and we are inclusive. We include every Ghanaian student. Every Ghanaian student matter within the Russian Federation, and so we take it very seriously. We take our members very seriously, and we also want to ensure that every Ghanaian student within the Russian Federation is having a comfortable life, is having a very is excelling academically, they're excelling in every aspect, in every area of their life, basically. So this is a very short presentation of what we do at Miss Russia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sandra. So for now, I'd like to go back to the questions that were asked previously in the chat. And if Ms. Sandra can go to the chat and look at the questions there. The first question was about, I believe, was about application process and all. So if we can answer those questions and Mr. Terry can help with answering those questions, then we can move on to our next speaker.
I think I can see a question that says, do the Russian schools also charge application fees like many schools do? Uh, from what I'm aware of, I know that most Russian schools don't charge application fees. Most of the application is free, but it actually depends on the kind of school you're applying to. Some schools, they might, I don't know for now, but I'm quite aware that most of the Russian schools within the Russian Federation, they don't really charge application fees. So you just apply and you just submit your documents and you go through the application process like everyone else who does.
Please, and the next question also, was another question. Okay, I think Nanama wants to answer, no, want to ask the question. She has raised her hands, please.
Mrs. Vice President, please, you said nukes is in every state in Russia.
Yes, please. Like every state within um uh-huh.
And so please how do you identify?
Nooks is more like a is a representative body of the Ghanaian students within Russia.
Okay. So please how do you identify students who come to Russia for the first time? Let's say I don't know about nukes and I'm coming to Russia. So how would you connect with me to help me, or how would I know that there's an association called nukes that is there to help Russians, Ghanaians, sorry, coming to Russia?
Okay, so from okay, so basically it is actually one of our main responsibilities to ensure that we know every student within the Russian Federation. It's quite unfortunate that Russia is a very, very big country. That is why when a Ghanaian student get to Russia and they get to their state, they have a local union. So it is the responsibility of every local union to ensure that any new student that get to the state, that new student is being added, the name and their details is being added to the details of every student body within Russia. and every student that you are supposed to ensure that your name is being submitted to your local executive. So that is the most of the responsibility of the local, one of the responsibilities of the local executive. Your name and your details are submitted to the local executive, and every local executive is supposed to connect with every student within that state. I understand some state may have like 100 students, some state may have five, some state may even have two. But it is very important that you get of course when you get to a state, you definitely find a Ghanaian, and a Ghanaian may connect you to the local executive. It's very, very important for you to get in touch with your local executive within the union. Then they register you, then your name and your details are submitted to us, which is then submitted to the embassy,
Okay.
the Ghanaian
And
embassy.
please, which state in Russia are you
Which state in Russia am I in? I'm in Petersburg.
in? And Petersburg.
Yes.
Please, is there a local council in Yaroslav?
In Yaroslav,
Yes, please.
I'm quite aware there is. I'm quite aware that there is, please.
Oh, okay.
It's also most important that you have to visit the embassy as well. Most students come to Moscow, so you have to go to the embassy. It's very, very important for you to also make sure that you go to the Ghanaian embassy. It's very important, because the embassy, they also play a very, very important role in ensuring that every student within Russia is being kept of like a record of. So you can also take a visit to the Ghanaian embassy and let them know of your presence within the Russian Federation, and they inform the union as well.
Oh, okay. So when you
Yes,
pass through the embassy will send your details to me.
yes. They also, so your details also come to us, and also you have to also check our website as well. So in case maybe you know someone who is coming and you don't know how to connect to the person, you can always tell the person to connect with us through our website. So our website gives you a contact detail where you'll be able to basically you'll be able to like give, like maybe you have a question or you have a commentary or something, or you want to indicate your presence within the Russian Federation, you have to do that through the website as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nama and Miss Sandra. Okay, so I believe that some of the things that were mentioned right now answers the question being that that was being asked in the chat, which is please how can I be a member of the local nukes when I get to Russia? And yeah, this is very simple to be a member of the local nukes. You just when you come to Russia, you have to very easy. You can connect with us through our social media, can send as an email. If you come as a private student, but if you come as a scholarship student, first of all, you're already in touch with the embassy. So the embassy will already have your contact and they will send you to the local nukes. So you already be in touch with someone from the local nukes when you arrive to your city. And also there's a question here that um, I'll 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 give this question to Miss Sandra to answer. I'll ask her. So I also want to know the mode of payment of admission fees. Do they demand payments before you leave, or you pay when you get there? Please, Miss Sandra, if you can answer this question. Okay. Miss Sandra, please can you help us with the question in the chat concern admission fees?
What admission fee exactly? Is it like is it the same as the application fee or?
No, yeah, okay. Well, for example, when I was coming, I'm going to use myself for example. I am not a scholarship student, I'm a private student, and I had to pay some, not admission fees per se, but I had to pay some of my school fees to confirm that I'll be coming. So I don't know if the person is just referring to only admission fees. As we already mentioned that most schools don't take admission unless you're coming through an agency, which we advise that you do not, and you just ask for the help of the union, and the union will refer you to the various schools website um so you can get a help of someone from the local nooks to help you with apply for the school.
I'm
So
actually quite aware that if let's say you're a private student, you're supposed to of course pay your tuition fees, and not so much I'm not so much aware with regards to the admission fee because within the Russian Federation, most of the schools, of course, you're not supposed to pay application fee, but there is a case that you, with regards to the admission fees, if it's literally the same as the tuition fees, I don't think so. It's basically you pay your tuition fees, and maybe there are other things they're also supposed to pay. Basically, because within the Russian Federation, when you get here as a new student, you're supposed to pay for your medical insurance, you're supposed to pay for your accommodation, you're supposed to also do some other medical examination. This is all part of the process. But with regards to admission fee, maybe it varies by school. I can actually say it varies by school because every school has their own policy with regards to how they deal with admitting students and with regards to the processing of new students within their student body. So it actually depends on your school and its policy. I hope I've answered your question, please.
okay, thank you very much for answering the question. So I believe that we have here with us the outgoing president from Mixed Russia, and I would like to for us to give the stage to Mr. Derek Jesse, if he's active. Mr. Derek, Mr. Jesse.
Yeah, hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Once again, joining the
Please, can
podcast.
you increase your voice? We can't hear you very well.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, we can.
Let me rejoin because I'm having challenges. Minutes.
Okay, so before I believe there's maybe some technical issues with Mr. Jesse, but let me answer the question. If I get you meaning some commitment, yes, if you're a private student, there has to be some commitment that the school needs from you before you arrive. So yes, even it's not a full payment, but you make some part payments of your school fees. But as scholarship students, you don't need to do that, of course, because you're a scholarship. Please, Mr. Jesse, we cannot really hear you, so
Yeah, hello. Good evening. Please, can you hear me?
yes, can hear you now.
Very sorry about the noise at the background. It's an end of the celebration at work. And I had to find time to have this all important discussion with all of you. I'll bring you. But can you, is Bob coming? Can you? All right, so I bring you greetings from Ghana. My name is Dr. Derek Yamojesi, the outgoing National Union of Management President. Last year, I was the speaker of the Rara Summit. I had the opportunity to also be the vice president for the Ghanaian community. I think the Russia has been very good to me. Currently, I'm in Ghana and I work with the Asian African Consortium as a research and development officer under the Just One group of companies. So I'm very open to take questions if there are any questions, and we want to answer a lot more questions from people who have questions, because I think that when I join the discussions, most of the things that our previous speakers we've already tackled them. And so if there are any questions for me, I think that I want the opportunity to answer them. And so I'm going to stand by for questions and then I'll react to them. But like I said, I've studied in Russia. I did my preparatory language in Russia. I did my first master's degree, my second master's degree, and my PhD in Russia. And then Russia has been very good to me, not to myself, but a couple of people that I know, colleagues at work, she's Dr. Anita Sribo, she's in charge of the human relations, she's also a graduate from Russia. And so, if there are any questions for me now, gladly would want to react to them quickly before. Thank you.
Please, are there any more questions about living in Russia? Not just application and processes and all that, but are there any questions, maybe, let's say, for example, transport systems, accommodation, how to budget for the month for things that you need. Mr. Jesse here would like to take all these questions and will answer them accordingly.
Is the cost of living in Russia high?
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. Myself, I have never been a sponsored student in Russia. I was a private student. I did, like I said, I did my preparatory course. I did first master's degree in social work, did second master's degree in agronomy, and did my PhD in total agriculture and crop production, all in Russia. And I funded my education myself. And then comparatively, Russia, around the European enclave, is one of the countries that has the lowest tuition fee. If you compare the tuition fee in Russia to the others in the other Scandinavian countries and the other Eastern and then the Western European enclaves, it is the lowest. And so it becomes very easy for you to be able to fund your education yourself if you are not able to find any scholarship opportunities. But however, getting scholarship opportunities to study in Russia is not something that is difficult. And so I always advise that you try to use those opportunities available to students in Ghana to have yourself enrolled on the scholarship scheme before you get to Russia, so that life does not become so difficult for you when the source of funding from home ceases. And to react to your question, it is not so expensive to study in Russia if you do not have the scholarship. But however, like I'm saying, you come here to. All right, okay, that's fine. See you after X months. All right, all the best. So if you do not have the scholarship, it becomes not a burden for you to study in Russia. How are we able to react to your question the right way?
Mr. Jesse, I believe the question was about low cost of living, not about fees. So if you could help us with that also, cost of living.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So, it is not very difficult to live in Russia. Like I've said earlier on, food is very cheap, transport is very cheap, and the only difficulty will be when it gets to clothes and just clothes and all that. But for feeding and for transportation that um, an average student would need to survive for the month, I think that transportation is 30 rubles if it's not changed. Maximum 35, 40, 50 rubles if it's not changed using the bus system. And so if you're a student and you want to live within your means, you want to buy a bus card, use the bus system or use a train system, and then with $100 you can offset your feeding cost. And so it is like I've said, if you compare Russia to, well, I had colleagues in other European countries, I had colleagues in America studying in the UK and all that. It is very comfortable to live in Russia, and if you compare the amount of expenditure monthly to our other colleagues in the other um, part of the diaspora, you can see that it is very comfortable to live in Russia, and that has been one of the reasons why students who are the past years have been able to even survive in Russia under stiffer conditions when the system was being attacked, because food is so much expensive, transportation is also fine, so you'll be able to manage if you want to live a very moderate life as a student. Accommodation, the university usually provides accommodation for students, and that is also very moderate. So when I was in Russia, I used to pay like 1,500 rubles for a year for the for a month, and that is about, let's see, that's about um, 160 or 170 Ghana cedis monthly as rent, living in the students hostel. And so is that mine? Or that's mine? Okay. You forgot, eh? How about my drink? Yeah, actually, ask her to drink. Okay,
Please, we can't hear you.
so living in the school hostel is very cheap. Like I said, to convert, it's about 170 Ghana cedis monthly for the school hostel facility, except you want to live in an apartment. And that too, there again, you have shared apartments, you can share with a colleague, and it becomes comfortable. But if you're a student and the purpose is to study and they live a very moderate life, I think that it's better you stay in the student hostel and then pay very moderate fees for the school hostel, and then not try to stifle yourself when it comes to expenditure.
Nanama, I think the question has been answered, and I'd like to add something very short is also that it also depends on where the city you're coming from. In the city you're staying in Russia, some cities are quite on the high side, and some cities fits the cost of what Mr. Jesse mentioned, which is the $100 and the 1,000 rubles and all those things. But some cities there's living cost is and transport is a little bit high. It depends on capital cities and big cities of Russia like Moscow, Petersburg, and all that. They have a quite high living. So if you're coming to those such cities, you have to get prepared for that. And other cities fix the cost of living that Mr. Jesse mentioned. Please, are there any more questions that you have for Mr. Jesse so that we can? Oh, I'm sorry, and Anama, please, was your question answered properly?
Yes, please.
Thank you. All right, please. Are there any more questions?
And please, to join Looks Russia, is the application, do you have to pay application fee?
No, you don't need to. It's free. Sorry, I had to answer this question. I thought it was already answered, but yeah. I think I'll just refer the next questions to Mr. Jesse himself to answer. Um, please, Mr. Jesse, do we have an application process for Mixed Pressure?
All right. I think that to I think that fundamentally, if you understand what literature is all about, and I am Dr. Jesse, I'm not Mr. Jesse, I'm Dr. Jesse. Looks Russia is the student component based in Russia. So, for example, if you go to any country outside Ghana, there is a legislation for there to be an establishment to foster the welfare of students in that particular country. So, say students in China, there should be a union, and if they are government-sponsored students, then the government through the embassy will work through that union. And so, if you go to China, there's Lux China. If you go to France, there's an association in France. If you go to UK, they have similar. If you go to Germany, they have similar. If you come to Russia, they have similar. And so, Lux Russia is an association or embodiment of students who are Ghanaians. So it's sort of compulsion for students who are Ghanaians to be part of this association. And it is through your membership of this union, you're able to have direct communication from stakeholders in Ghana who have the interest of students at heart. So if you are an individual student who decides that you're studying in Russia at your own expenses, and so you do not need a union, and you would need some basic support system from the embassy. Um, the extent to which that support will be rendered to you, the pace and the speed is going to be different from a student who is already part of Duke Russia and working through the leadership of the union directly to the embassy. So, for example, the leadership of Duke Russia, they have unfettered access to say the first secretary in charge of education at the Ghanaian embassy in Moscow. And so, if you have challenges in your state and you want it to be addressed and you speak to your leadership, of course, at any point in time, they could just have it resolved through the embassy, as opposed to you, an individual, trying to reach the embassy directly to seek for a redress of your problems. And so it doesn't cost you anything to be part of the union. It is a compulsion for you to be part of it for your own benefit. And so when I was a president, I had challenges with students trying to live without the union and thinking that, okay, so we don't want to be part of the union because we do not see the benefits of the union to us. And there are a lot of people who deserve commendations for how closely they have worked for the union, not even at a high level. Somebody like, I've seen someone like Evans, Hermitage. I've seen Evans even on the meeting with us now. I've seen somebody like Honorable Kennedy because of what I've seen him also. And you see, there are a lot of things that we need to understand as a people. Currently, where I sit now, I had opportunity because I was a president for the National Union of Ghanaian Students in Russia, and I had opportunity by virtue of the fact that I worked closely with the union and met the right people at the right time. And of course, this is it. And so we do not have to have a narrow outlook of Lux Russia as a body, but there should be a wider look at the scope of, of the operations of Lux Russia and understand that there is a Soviet trained graduates association, SODGA, These are people who have studied in Russia, they studied in Ukraine for so many years. Our former president Mahama is part of it. Honorable Joshua Alabi is part of it. There are so many people men and so many people men who studied in Russia. They are back in Ghana, and they have what it takes to put new graduates there, and they have that link with the current breed of leadership in Russia. And so through that medium, we could always try to offload some of our burdens to them and understand that we cannot do it alone. Of course, we need people and places to help us to get to the point that we want to get to. And so we being part of the union, it gives us a lot of opportunities that we may not even see it short-term wise, but long-term, there are a lot of opportunities that life. So for example, for me, from where I sit, I would love to hold the hand of somebody from Russia and say, "There's an opportunity, go for it." And if there's a recommendation I could give, go for it. Of course, I should see your commitment and your engagement in the union, and then if there's any opportunity that we can also give to, of course, we will do that. As opposed to somebody who would always see the union as an antagonist and would not see anything better in becoming part of the union, and always want to stifle the work that the union does. Especially always want to try to become a hero of a sort, opposing the work of leadership. And so it's free to be part of Look Russia. It's your responsibility to ensure that wherever you find yourself in the Russian Federation, you are connecting to the union to enjoy the benefit of it. And the benefits that the union will give to you, you may not even see it while you're there, because I have not even seen any monetary benefits of being a student leader. I have served the union as I said the union as the Speaker of the House Senate, I served as the President, and in the history of the union, the Congress I attend, I organized was the least patronized Congress. Nobody did patronize the Congress. The current president now was the organizer then. The number of students who even came for the Congress was an eyesore. Nobody paid dues for me to even put up projects and programs. But through the Congress that even current as we speak now, pictures that we took at the Congress, pictures were not used properly. Okay. You can take this out. Oh, take this out. No. Okay. So what is it on? About the first matter. Okay. I had a short meeting right there. Like I was saying, pictures that we even took during the Congress were not out. People don't even know what even happened during the Congress and all that. But the opportunities that came out of serving the union, the little commitment that we did for the union, even the financial commitment that we even did for the union when we served the union. Now there's a big relief, and I sit here now because I've already said this because so I would advise for me from where I sit, I always give positives about Look Russia, and would always advise anybody who's in Russia that any little thing that you can do to ensure that you are contributing your quota to the development of Look Russia and making yourself known and building yourself using that platform is key. Let's take advantage of that. We all have our individual ambitions. We all have our individual strides. And so people have their own outlooks of things. People have their own perspectives of how they see Look Russia. And you should stand out, become that individual who wants to look at the positives of Look Russia and tap in the opportunities that Look Russia can give to you as an individual, because there are a lot of opportunities that Look Russia can give to you. You only need to make yourself accessible and just try to hit the right spots and make sure that you're enjoying from the benefits of it. So let me give you an example. So I came home, I went to the scholarship secretariat. It was given a very unfettered access to any office that I wanted to. And I just went to discuss with them that, okay, so look here, there are students who come back from Russia. Some of them have written the licensure exams, the medical students, have written like licensure exams. And then they've not passed. They still have challenges financially. And then said, okay, so ask them to come to the office tomorrow, come right here next, and then government will absorb the cost of the training and even writing the exam. And these are little things that students in Russia have enjoyed because they have a body and they had somebody who had gone there in the name of New Russia just to negotiate on some of these things for them. And so if there are any questions again, I would just want to, if there are no questions, I mean, you have to. Thank you.
Please, are there any more questions? And thank you very much, Mr. Jesse, for answering that question. I hope Nana might feel that it was answered well for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mhm. All right then. There was a question, and I'd like to read this question so that our speakers could help with this question. Please, if you get admission as a graduate student if you get admission as a graduate student after your studies, were you saying you cannot stay and work and you have to come back to Ghana and reapply for working payments? For working payment or working visa? I think it's supposed to be working visa. If so, what can such students do to avoid coming back and reapply? Okay. Anyway, so I'll call in our next speaker to help us answer such questions. And our next speaker is the current. Thank you very much, Mr. Jesse, for your.
I just want to take my leave. I am Dr. Jesse, not Mr. Jesse.
Sorry, Dr. Jesse. Sorry.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Sorry for the wrong way of calling you. Okay, so our next speaker is the current Nux Russia president, and he is Mr. Festus Kasum Kunde. And yeah.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning and listening from. My name is Kunde Festus Kasson, and I'm currently the president for the National Union of Ghanaian Students for this current administration. Today, I believe I would like to acknowledge that a lot of people have been here to join us for today's seminar, and we are probably going to do the seminar again. So since it's being recorded, we are going to touch on specific things as so that people that were not able to tune in today live would be able to maybe listen in on the recordings and later probably ask questions through our platform. So I don't know if I'm being heard clearly. Am I being heard clearly? Can anybody acknowledge that?
Yes, please, you are.
Okay. Thank you very much once more. I would like to, first of all, thank all the speakers, Mr. Terry, who's the consular and also protocol, Mr. Mrs. Sandra Mills, who is the current vice president for the National Union of Ghanaian Students, and also Dr. Jesse, who's the outgoing president for the National Union of Ghanaian Students. Once again, thank you very much for speaking on today's seminar. So I believe we have scouted specific questions students have been asking on our website and other social media platforms. That is what I'm trying to touch on. The first speaker, which is Mr. Terry, has already given insights on things you need to be aware of when you get to the Russian Federation, the embassies. Hello, am I being heard? Okay. And also, Ms. Mills has already spoken about the union, but not into some little bit. And also, Dr. Jesse has also given his perspective on transitioning from Russia here as a student back into Ghana. So today, I'm actually touching on specific things. I have a list here on my laptop here, and I'm going to go over it. The frequently asked questions are what I'm actually touching on. Somebody or people would ask, what are the fees ranges for students to be able to study here in Russia? And I would like to answer those questions with the fees depend on the specific program you are coming to study. So the fees could range anywhere from $2,500 up to $15,000. In case this recording is seen in future, please. We are in 2023, and all the figures I'm actually putting here are within this current era. Probably it might increase or it might decrease in future. Who knows? So the fees range depend on the. Please, someone is on. Hello. Okay. The fees range depends on the specific program. Most at times, students that come to Russia to study do come for some programs like medicine, oil and gas engineering, and a few of them come for other social programs. Law, I heard of a student that did law here, but I believe in every country, to do law, you might have to study their local law before you get to the opportunity to do the international law. So some programs like medicine are mostly what students that are mostly coming from Ghana do come and study here. Also oil and gas and other engineering programs. So the fees are based on these programs and also based on the school. In some specific states, Russia has over 46 regions, and each state has a lot of schools over there. So the school depends, or the fees mostly depend on the specific region you are actually going in to study. There are some regions that are much colder during the winter, and some of them are much or less cold. So if you are a student or you are a prospect trying to come and study here, I believe doing your research well is going to assist you to know where you could avoid such type of, because there are students that are currently in Yakutsk, which is one of the coldest states in Russia. It gets to almost minus 72, and if you don't do your research well and choose these schools, probably because the fees are cheap over there, you might find yourself wanting. That's why the union is here to assist you to be able to make such informed decisions. I'll move on to the next, which is most people do apply to study in Russia through agencies in Ghana. It is the same here. It is through agencies because the Russian Federation and the universities here do get or take make intakes for students to be able to study in their universities through agencies. So most agencies in Ghana you hear or you see advertisement, oh, please study in Russia, and they are going to assist you and all those things. There are specific agencies within some specific schools that the university has already given them the power to be able to admit students through their agencies. So with this, you might be able to pay application fees to these agencies, and the application fees do ranges from around $150 to up to $500, depending on the agency you're able to contact to assist you. The next question is how to apply. In application, you need specific documents to be able to apply into universities in Russia here. The most important document is your passport. That is what assists you to be able to leave a country into a different country. So your passport is needed, and also your certificate for your secondary certificate. Mostly the WASI. People with SSC are mostly people that probably are already graduate and trying to do postgraduate or a master's here in Russia. So you might have to present these documents as well to the school for them. But those documents wouldn't be the reason you are going to be accepted into the universities. Most of us do know that people do sometimes maybe in Ghana, medicine, for instance, to be out to be accepted into the medical program in Ghana, you need almost 8 A's, and some people do even get 8 A's and not get accepted. The Russian Federation do become a little bit lenient on grades because they believe in the performance of the student when they do get here. So it is when you get here and you don't perform, that is when you find yourself wanting, because you might probably be expelled. Okay. The next is acceptance letter. School gives you an acceptance letter before they do your invitations for you. So some agencies do help you get acceptance letter from the school before you be able to get the invitation done. So it is the acceptance letter that when agencies are do working for you, they might probably ask you to make payment of your application fee. So it's not that you do apply or make payment to apply for a school in Russia here, but you make payments for the acceptance of this application. So that is what it is. Application. Another question that was asked was, how long does application take? Sorry, yeah, how long does application take? Application is mostly instant, but it is the invitation that takes over 21 days for it to be ready when it is being submitted to the school. So admissions usually begin in June and end around August. So admission is, so put it at the back of your mind that admission ranges. So it is from June to August. That is if you are coming directly to study the program. But most programs here are being offered in the Russian medium, meaning your teachers are going to teach you in Russian language. There are some programs that accept applications for you to be able to study in English. For instance, I myself am a fifth year medical student, and currently, when I was coming to the Federation, for the first 3 years, I had to study medicine in English. But because we've got into the clinical part of medicine, it is allowing us to be able to get into the hospitals to be able to do some specific practicals. And with that, you need to know the language to be able to even speak to patients when you do get there. So our invitation takes over 21 days for it to be ready. You might probably send your application in June, but so immediately you get acceptance from the school, you can get your your invitation ready within 21 days. Okay. Apart from that, somebody asked whether or how to apply for a visa in Ghana. Fortunately, the Russian embassy in Ghana do not stress on application for students to be able to come and study in Russia. The application processes that I've heard that has issues will probably be people trying to get into the federation as tourists or to work in Russia. So you need a whole lot of documentation from your employer and all those things to be able to get visas easily when you are a worker. But it is much easier for you to enter the Russian Federation with an application as a student to study here in Russia. Okay. So the documents needed for application, I believe these documents are the ones I already mentioned. So the WASI results, the visa application. But to be able to submit your documents to the Russian embassy in Ghana for visa application, you might have to legalize the documents. So in legalizing these documents, you need to go to the High Court in Ghana and also the Foreign Affairs in Ghana. These are some of the things that the agencies do sort out for you easily when you go in or when you try to apply in with an agency. So you go to the higher court and also the foreign affairs. This information I'm giving here might be frowned upon by agencies or agents that are bringing students here because it is me actually opening up into how their businesses do work. But if you have time yourself, you can go to the high court yourself to apply for the legalization. And after that, you come back to the Russian embassy for notarization of your documents. So after that, you can apply for your visa. The visa application fees ranges from how long you want to get your visa. I think the normal process takes 2 weeks or 2 weeks, and there you have instant visa application that are a day or even hours for you to be able to get your visas to be able to travel to the federation. The next question someone asked was, how much do flight costs for you to be able to come to the Russian Federation? It depends on every airline. The most cheapest airline students have already or have always been using Egypt, Qatar, and Emirates. They are the most moderate prices you could find on the market to be able to get your flights into Russia. The flight tickets ranges from also around 800 to $2,000, depending on whether you are booking in and out or you are booking one way. Okay. The next question was on the translation of documents. So some schools do ask you to translate your documents before they even agree to your application in the Russian Federation. So this is where some of the agencies do come in. So the Russian embassy themselves recommend specific people for translation of documents, especially the passport. So if you go to the Russian embassy, they are going to give you specific people to translate your documents for you. But it is not much needed because some people do not translate their documents in Ghana before they get here. They get here and translate here instead, and it's much cheaper here. But I believe going with the people in Ghana makes it much simpler for you to be able to get your documents translated because the people in Ghana do understand a little bit of how the English language and how to translate it directly into the Russian language. Let's say your name is maybe I need a difficult name, maybe Fiance Daniel. Fiance is a name that probably might not be able to be spelled by a Russian translator in Russia here very well. So the translators in Ghana do know the language so well to be able to make the translation in a way that your name can be pronounced well. People do get translations wrong. That is why sometimes they do get the Russian Federation, and the Russians pronounce their names not correctly. So I believe using the translators in Ghana makes it much easier for you to be able to get your documents translated. I wanted to give on the next thing I'm talking about are immigration rules you need to understand before you get to the federation. So, for instance, you've gotten your visa, you've got your flight ticket, and you get to the federation. Mostly for a student visa, the Russian embassy gives you a 90 days for the visa to expire. So, from the day you receive the visa till the day the visa expires is mostly 3 months. So it is when you get to the federation that the university extends your visa for another year for you. So mostly to allow that happen, when you get to the federation, you should have over 40 days on your visa before the university can submit your document for extension. If you have less than, it is actually 20 days, but to be on the safer side, you should have more than 40 days. If you have less than 20 days on your visa, the way they do calculate this is by removing uh, the weekends, which is the Saturdays and the Sundays, out of the days they are going to count, and you get much lesser days. So with this, there are instances of students being sent back home because they overstayed when they took their visas. So when you take your visa in Ghana, make sure you are leaving the country at least within a month, so that you still have enough days on your visa to be able to be for the visa to be extended when you get here. So it'll be best to know exactly when you are flying or when you want to leave the country before you do before you do apply for your visa. Your invitation is set for a specific number of days, but it doesn't matter. It is mostly 3 months as well. So you need to make your application of the visa within 3 months of receiving the invitation. And you need to get here making sure you have over 40 days or 40 days on your visa before you get the opportunity for it to be extended. Okay. The next thing is the migration card. Currently, there are new rules that the Russian Federation has introduced into the system. So, if new students could have testified to this, now the Russian Federation or the Russian immigration is telling each and every student to be able to do something we call the datoroscopy. This is you getting your medicals checkup here in Russia, and also getting fingerprint to be able to be given a card that is called the immigration card. I think it allows you to be able to move freely within the country, even if you don't have your passport on you at all times. If you have the immigration card, it actually tells the person requesting for this card that okay, you were allowed into the country this time and something like so. It's basically an identification card for you to be able to move here in Russia. Uh, the immigration itself, the immigration desk at at the airport when you get to Russia here gives you a paper. There's a paper they give to you which states the specific date you entered the country. Please and please and please do not misplace this paper because it is really important. Uh, Most students that misplace this find difficulties and sometimes getting deported back into their countries because they misplaced these paper. So kindly keep those paper safe when you do get to the federation. It is something you should know as a student when you are coming here. The next thing is someone asks, how do I get jobs and what sort of jobs you can get in Russia here? To get jobs in Russia here, I believe personally that you should be able to harness a skill by yourself. I have a friend here who knows how to barb hair, so he's like a barber. He's a student, although, but the Russians here don't know exactly how to maintain our hair because of the type of hair we do have as Africans. So most of the barbering shops here do not really cut our hair that well. So if you want to look fine, so if you could harness the skill of becoming or knowing how to shave hair and all those things, I believe you become much equipped to be able to have something on your own. So you might be in a hostel with Africans and you might be cutting their hair and they will pay you to do that. And that is going to be some sort of income you are going to be earning by yourself. If you are a female, if you could learn how to plait hair, it allows you to be able to make some sort of income here when you do get here. Because the same way, the saloons here do not know how to probably plait hair. Recently, I believe they are learning how to do such things because some of the Africans here are teaching them. So you might be able to get employed here in the saloons during summer or during summer to plait hair within some of these saloons, and you can be able to make income off of something like this. So I believe learning these type of skills or honoring a skill like this before you get here gives you an advantage. I myself, before I got here, I believe I learned how to create websites and manage things on social media and stuff. And it has also been assisting me because there are businesses here that might probably need your technical skills as a website developer or a coding expert to be able to create websites or apps for them here. So knowing or having a skill before you get here is important for you as an individual to make things much easier to be able to make income. Apart from that, yes, there are job opportunities here to be able to work in the fast food restaurants and also physical labor jobs. People do even do construction as well. Currently, I believe from 2 or 3 years ago, it wasn't so for students to be able to work. But now some sort of agreement has been put out by the Russian government that students are being able to work for some specific amount of hours. I don't remember the exact amount of hours you can work within the week. I believe it's almost 20 hours also. I'm not very certain on that specific number. So students are able to do some construction jobs here and there to be able to survive. As the former uh, outgoing president just said, he was being able to cater for his own fees when he was back here because he was being able to work in some specific areas of Russia here. There are other job opportunities like teaching English language. So if you can harness the skill of teaching English language, I believe you get the opportunity to carve yourself a specific niche to do what to teach English, and it's mostly one of the easiest job to get in Russia here. If you can teach very well, I believe you get to excel and make a lot of money here when you get to the federation. So, if possible, to get yourself or make yourself more important, if you could write such exams like these TOEFL and these IELTS and all those things to give you some sort of certification that you teach English or you know English well. When you get here, you do actually get uh, English universities or sorry English schools to employ you to be able to teach English even whilst you are studying, and you can use this opportunity to make uh, income and use that to survive. I believe someone also asked about the cost of living, and some of the speakers have already touched on these topics. But with my perspective, I would say it depends on the specific state you are in. Each state has that's their sort of economic threshold that they do have over there. Let's say to live in a big city like Moscow, you know and understand that your cost of living is going to be much higher than a person living in a smaller city. I live in a smaller city called Stavropol, and the cost of living here is not that high compared to people that are living in Moscow. So let's say I can spend almost up to, let's say, from $100 to almost $200 as a student here, which includes maybe transportation, feeding, and other expenses that I might be able to have here in Stavropol. But somebody in Moscow, that amount of money probably might not last him or her a week or two. And so it depends on the specific city you are coming in to let you know the specific cost of living you should project. So that's why when you reach the union, we can put all these things, or we can give you specific information on the specific state that you are actually going to do what to study, so that we let you understand that, okay, this city that you are going to, you should have a budget of around maybe 100 or 200, or a budget of 200 to up to 500 to be able to survive and live a regular life. Or if you are extravagant, there are students that get here, and sometimes you need to blow off steam, you need to go out, you need to explore, you need to go to some specific places, you need to pay for excursions, those type of things. So depending on the type of individual you are to, if you're an introvert like some of us, you probably might not spend a lot. But if you are an extrovert, definitely you are going to spend a lot, because you need to put in more to see or to do all the other things you would want to do. The next question is jobs. Are there jobs here after school? I would say yes, because there's a Ghanaian community. I believe we invited their president, and I don't know if he wasn't able to make it, probably because of working. So you see, so if he's working, that means it tells us there are job opportunities here to be able to work and live in Russia as an individual. But I believe to live in Russia here, the language is really important, because I would say 95 to 99% of the majority here speak Russian to you anywhere you go. Russia is not an English-speaking country, and the number of people that speak English here is much lesser. So when you get here, I would urge each and everyone to take the language seriously, even if you don't get the opportunity to study in the preparatory program, which is almost a year. It is always a year-long program. You learn Russian language, you learn some of the other electives in the Russian language, like biology, chemistry, and other programs, depending on the specific program you're about to come and do here. So this allows you to be able to be much communicative. And if you are communicative, definitely it allows you to be able to go places and also get jobs easily, because they believe they could communicate to you quite easily without any problem. Okay. The next thing I'm going to touch on is something that I believe most people don't talk about. We as Ghanaians do ask questions like, oh, are there jobs and all those type of things. I believe we can actually create jobs ourselves by carving a specific niche for ourselves. So if you carve a niche for yourself, I believe it is very important. Why do we always want to work for people? Why don't we start our own businesses? You can start your own business in Russia here. And I believe one of the people on this platform currently, I saw initially, it's a man of integrity that has already started his own English school in Russia here. Though it isn't cheap for you to be able to establish something like this, but it is possible for you to establish something like this. So we as Ghanaians shouldn't always look at working for people, but also carving a niche for ourselves to work for ourselves. There are students here that when they are coming into the federation, they do import things like weave-ons, comb, pomade, and all those other things you probably might not be able to get your hands on as an African or as a Ghanaian here in Russia. People are selling to the extent of red oil. So there are people that have carved a niche for themselves by importing things into the country and selling it to the Africans here. And in this manner, you don't need to work for somebody. You are literally working for yourself as well. So if you can bring in or have a strategy to sell things that you think people might need here, that is you creating a platform for yourself. There is someone that I know that they sew clothes, African type clothing, and they sell to other Africans here, and even some of the Russians here. So this person is working for themselves. So it's, you don't need to work for someone to be able to survive or live in Russia here. So I believe these types or these sort of things are something we as Ghanaians need to do what to know, and it's going to definitely help us to be able to stay back here in Russia, opening up businesses here, and even opening up businesses in Ghana when you do get back home, because there are things here you can pick up and go and implement in Ghana when you do get here. I would like to bring in this analogy of the red car. I read a book, and there's a man that asked a question. Today, I can let's take this as a specific exercise. You listening to me right now, if I'm to ask you the question of how many red cars were you able to count today before you got to where you are right now? People might not be able to answer this question for me because they never thought of counting red cars. I'm talking about a car. Nobody counted the red cars before they got to where they got to right now. But if I'm to put a challenge here right now that everyone should go to the street right now within the next 5 minutes and count how many red cars, and per each red car you count, I'm going to give you $100. You will definitely find more red cars that are passing by your neighborhood to be able to receive this $100. This whole analogy or this whole thing I'm actually explaining is, if you are not looking for opportunities don't just come to you. If you are looking for these opportunities, then you put yourself in a position to be able to do what? To find these opportunities, to be able to excel in life. I believe that is the last thing I want to say here. Thank you very much, everyone, for making it to today's seminar. I think I'm the last speaker currently on. I'm going to open up the platform for anybody that has questions, and I'm duly going to answer them. Thank you very much.
Please, there was a question that was stated in the chat, which was
Please, if you could read out the question.
working to get a working permit. If you get admission as graduate students, after your studies, can you someone he was like the person's like the person one of the speakers mentioned I cannot stay and work and have to come back to Ghana and reapply for working permits. So the person was asking if, as a student, if you can avoid this and stay and work after you're done with your studies.
Yes, please. You can actually stay, but there are loopholes that I believe if I'm to say online or say here, and it goes more viral, I'm sure the Russian Federation will know that we are actually talking about this. So kindly do not share this information with the Russians. Do share it with other students. The preparatory program is a 1-year program that allows you to study Russian language here. So I believe there are some specific universities that can assist you. So right after or before you even complete school, you could apply again to study the Russian program. This allows you to be able to get a visa for another year. So some people do forfeit not going to the Russian preparatory program and end up getting the visa because they've been able to apply for the preparatory program. So that is a loophole that I'm actually giving out here. So you can apply for a preparatory program, and it allows you another year to be able to stay here. So if you already do know the language, I believe you don't really need to go to the class. So this allows you to be able to stay here and find a way to work. That is a way. And also, the Russian Federation has introduced something that I believe it's a game changer. So currently, students ourselves can now apply for a temporary residency. So though I am a student, I can apply for a temporary residency. And this temporary residency allows you to be able to stay in the Federation 6 months after schooling. And the 6 months they're actually giving you is for you to be able to apply for a permanent residency within that period. So I think documents that you need to be able to make the application for this temporary residency, it can only be applied for people that are already in the Federation. So if you get to the Federation, what you need is a police report from your country, your passport, and also you do some specific medical tests. I think it includes HIV, tuberculosis, and other drug tests. So they do test you for over 20 drugs. So they need to know that you are not a criminal or you are not doing any sort of drugs within the Federation when you do get here. So you need that medical analysis for these specific things I've mentioned, and you need a police report and your passport. And I believe you need to make payment of almost around 2,000 rubles, and these 2,000 rubles converted into Ghana cedis is around let's say probably 200 cedis. So you go to your immigration in the specific state that you are in, and you submit your police report. And with the police report, when you get a police report from Ghana, I believe you need to do a legalization of the report, the police report at the Ghanaian embassy here in Russia to make it a document that is like notarized, basically. So if the document is notarized, unless I'm very wrong here, if the embassy representative is here, Mr. Terry, he might probably touch on it as well. So you need to notarize the police report, and now you can use that to apply for the temporary residency. And when you do apply for the temporary residency, as a student, you now get access to that residency permit, which is for a temporary basis, but you don't pay for visa application or visa extension yearly as we do or as we used to do. So let's say you are coming to the Federation and you are coming to study medicine. If you are studying the medicine in the Russian medium, it's going to take you probably 7 years, which includes the preparatory program. That is studying or learning Russian language for a year before you begin the program itself. But if you are studying directly in English, you do start, it will take you maybe 6 years. So when you get to the Federation, you've gotten your 6 months, your 3 months visa from Ghana, you get to the Federation, you go to the school and apply for an extension of visa, and they give you a whole year extension. So within that period, if let's say you were able to apply for the police report from Ghana before you got here, you just go directly and start the application process. But I believe it will be best to do the application when you are in the Federation, because the police the police ask you for the address that you are living in the foreign country. So if you are in Russia, you need to know your address that you are living in before you can even apply for the police report. And I believe the police report, the cost for application for the police report is around 1,300. But we are Ghanaians, and we do have people that can assist you to facilitate getting these documents. Though I do not concur, but you might be able to pay almost up to 3,000 Ghana cedis just to be able to ascertain this police report on time or immediately. And the report you ascertain is for 3 months. So after 3 months, the police report is expired. So you might not be able to do it, to use it after 3 months. That is why it is best and advisable that you get to the Federation, get your visa extended for a year, then you apply for the police report in Ghana. I believe in application for the police report, your parent or anybody in Ghana can assist you to make the application. You might need your passport, other data information, your address in the Federation here, and also your I think your parents or your guardian names. If it's, let's say, your mother, her maiden name, and all those other information as well. I think I could go much into it when individuals directly contact the union, and we could give you these informations. Or you could go to the police, any police station in Ghana, and just ask these questions. They are going to give you the specific documents you need to apply for a police report in Ghana. So when you get this police report, you do your medical test, then you take the payment and you go to the immigration services in that specific state that you are in and do the application. I believe one other thing you might need is a documentation from your university that says you are a student there, which might probably be signed by the dean or the rector. So mostly it's signed by the dean of the foreign affairs in your specific university, and you add those documents up and apply for the temporary residency. It takes almost 2 months for the temporary residency to be ready. And when you get that temporary residency, basically you don't need to pay for visa extension yearly as we do. And I believe visa extension yearly is almost 1,600 rubles as at now. I believe maybe in the future it is going to increase, but it is 1,600. So you save yourself paying 1,600 for 6 years by just doing all these things once, and you don't make payment because you already have a temporary residency, and it will last you for 6 years. I believe there's a renewal process that you might have to renew maybe yearly by just showing them that you are still in a federation and you haven't left. And this allows you 6 months after your university. So let's say I graduated in June. I have 6 months to stay extra in the federation to now use that opportunity to apply for a permanent residency if I want to stay here. And before, I think you needed to secure a job with your employer giving you some specific documentations before you could apply for these type of permanent residency. But I believe the rules have changed now, and it is really a good or a game changer that is actually assisting or getting people interested in staying back in the federation after the university. So this is another loophole you could extend. And then other thing for you to be able to stay back here is ascertaining something the Russian Federation call the Krasny diploma. The Krasny diploma literally means like the red diploma, and it means ascertaining a higher GPA or an excellent GPA at the end of the course or the program that you came to study. So let's say you got all A's in your studies, or A and B's in your studies when you were in that university. You might be able to get the red diploma, and immediately you get a red diploma. You don't even need to apply for a temporary residency. You can go ahead and apply for a permanent residency, and you can get access to the permanent residency. The permanent residency, and you can live your days in Russia here, find jobs and other things to be able to do. The other thing, or the other approach other people do go by, is simple. You get married to a Russian and probably you can get access. But I believe that loophole has been exploited so much that the Russians now have set up extra barriers to make sure people are not just getting married to get permanent residency to study, or sorry, to live in the federation. So they do go ahead to do what? To now, what I heard currently is you might have to even have a child with that individual before they can even allow to give you a permanent residency stay here. So unless you truly love this person, I'm not sure you might want to use the marriage option. So these are the options that I know personally that I'm actually giving here. I believe some people do know other loopholes to be able to get the access to stay here permanently after schooling, to work, or to continue schooling here. Thank you very much. I believe someone was asking a question, Miss Violet or Miss Josephine. So please, if you could ask your question, I believe I could.
Before also the same person asked that if we can apply to universities without agency. And I believe that for me personally, I did that. I didn't apply through agency. So I don't know if to other schools, if it's possible.
Okay. Yes, you can apply to the universities without agencies. Some universities already have their websites. So the type of university you are looking for, or the specific state you are researching for, some universities do allow application directly on their platform. So you can apply without agencies and get into the federation. So yes, it is possible to apply and come and study here in Russia without true agencies, meaning you apply directly to the school. But it's not all schools that do accept application through individuals, but they do accept applications through agencies. I believe it is a protective mechanism for them to be able to make sure that the agency is the one doing all the job, because the agency is going to do all these what is it called, documentation and other those hectic parts of getting you to apply to get these documents, to all those type of information. The agency does all those things for you. So some universities do get these agencies to be able to recruit people on their behalf, but some universities do allow you to apply directly into the university to study your program of choice. Thank you. I don't know if this answers the person's question. If there are any more questions, I'm definitely open up to answering them.
Okay, Festus, I wanted to ask about the Krasny diploma, but I think you explained it, so that's fine. I wanted to know how effective that works, and for how long does it take for one to receive the permanency?
For sure, the Krasny diploma is the main important thing. It's just like a government in Russia here. So they are looking forward to getting the best of the best Africans to stay here, not just any African to stay here. So if you're an African with brains, they definitely would need you to stay here and make their economy great. So yes. So before you even complete the university, I'm sure some few months to completing, you already know whether you are on the red diploma, meaning you already know your total grade and all those things before you even write the state exams to be able to complete the university. So within that period, I would advise that you do what? You apply for the temporary residency if you haven't applied for the temporary residency, so that immediately after school you get your Krasny diploma, which is the red diploma. You get access, you get 6 months to stay here to apply for the permanent residency. But if you don't apply within that period and maybe you complete school, your visa ends, that means you might have to come back to Ghana and do the application from Ghana, which is probably going to be hectic because you might need people here to maybe send in applications for you, to do all these documentations for you. But you can do that from Ghana as well. But the smartest way I could advise is months, or maybe like 8 months or 6 months before you complete the university. It will be best to apply for the temporary residency, which allows you 6 months after completion to stay in the federation, and you can do your permanent. You can now apply for the permanent residency within the federation. You asked about how long it takes for the application to be like to get the permanent residency. I believe it takes somewhere from 3 months to 6 months. That is why they gave that ample time within the temporary residency to be able to make the application and receive the application. Receive the permit. Thank you. I don't know if this answers your question. Please,
Can you please reply? Josephine Violet. I think she's not probably. She
okay,
can't
please.
really hear.
If there are any more questions,
Mr. President, there's one question I would like to ask. Let's say foreigners who are in Ghana, Ghanaians actually, who have not gotten into the country yet. They want to find schools which they will be able to pay the fees so that they will not end up going to Moscow, Petersburg, or these kind of other places. Is there a portal or probably an easy way for them to find these schools?
Find these. Please come again with your question.
My question was, is there any way for Ghanaians who are willing to come to Russia to be able to find an easy way to get schools which may be pertaining to the amount these schools have stipulated for fees? How will these Ghanaians be able to get these schools and be able to apply for them easily if they want to do it by themselves?
Okay. I believe the only answer I could give to that is I don't know a specific portal that allows you to be able to just search for schools except Google. So if you know the specific program you are about or you want to come and study in Russia, I am sure as an individual doing research before you come here, you type list of medical schools in Russia, and websites are going to provide these type of list of medical schools, and you might ask list of cheap medical schools or how much does medical school cost. So you get articles tackling these specific things. There isn't a specific portal that I know of that allows you to be able to search for these schools. So if you get the name of the school, that is when you do search or do an extensive research into the school. And if you find the school's website, the easiest way is to contact the school directly. I'm sure they have a representative that you can contact through email or even through a call, and they are going to definitely give you specifics on how to make or how to apply into that specific school. So that is the only way I do know how. Apart from that, we as the National Union of Ghanaian Students have already been in talks to try and find a way to write or tackle these specific articles. Like, okay, imagine you type medical schools in Russia or top 10 medical schools in Russia, and the website that pops up is by the National Union of Ghanaian Students, meaning it gives it some sort of credibility. And when you do contact us that we published this particular article, we can now definitely go into details by giving you maybe the school's information, if otherwise it's not online, for you to be able to contact them directly and do what and apply to be able to come and study in the specific university. I don't know if this answers the questions a little, but I don't know of a specific portal. If you do know of such portal, I believe you could share it with the people here, and maybe it makes it much easier for them to get applications done without even stressing themselves through or getting the applications through the agencies.
All right, thank you very much. I wanted to ask about what the union is going to do to help students who come here, like
fresh students who arrived in Russia, how they're going to cope. But it seems you have answered my question too as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godfred. Please, are there any more questions?
Please, is the immigration card the same as the Zilioni Carta?
Yeah, I believe so. It's a green looking card that sorry, let me find one here. The original migration card is the card they do give to you when you do what? When you enter the federation at the immigration desk at the airport. But the new card that you need to do, which includes the medicals and the fingerprint detection, is like this. So you get a card like this. Hold on. You get a card like this. That is what they give to you when you do so this is the immigration card basically, and it's written here on top in Russian language actually. Thank you. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, please, it does. So what does the card do? It helps you to move around easily or help you to
No,
get.
I believe it's like an addition to your identification here. So let's say I can walk on the streets without my passport because my passport is really important to me. So my passport probably might be in my room or something. But maybe if I'm asked by the police around, you need probably to show a document that says you are like legal in this country or something. So you might have to show either your student's ID card, but this migration card just solves it all. So if you can, or if you, it is much safer for you to walk around with a migration card. It is a rubber type something. Uh, and it's durable than to be walking around everywhere with your passport. So I believe this is the only reason I know of the use of this specific card. But without the card or without getting this fingerprint and all these detections done, people are being sent home. Currently, I have students in my class that have been sent home because they didn't do this card, and they've spent more than 3 months within the federation without doing the card. So, and please, the card costs somewhere around 8,000 to 12,000 rubles, depending on the specific state you are coming into. So, prospects that are coming into Russia, put this at the back of your mind. When you get to the federation, you might have to make payments for this card, which includes you getting all your medicals done and also doing what? Getting the fingerprints done to be able to receive this card. Thank you. Please, are there any more questions?
I'm Mr. First. Sorry. And please, you were saying the card costs about 8,000. Is it part of the fees or something? Because I don't remember we paying such money when we go to the
No, please.
immigration.
It's not part of the fees. It is something the school recommends for you to do. So with schools that have agencies, I believe the agencies do take monies from all the students and assist them in busing them to do all these specific tests at specific locations. So it is not part of the school fee. It is something separate on its own. So just put it at the back of your mind. You are not paying this money to an agency. You are not paying it to the school. You are going to pay it at the places you are going to do these tests at. So first of all, you go and do tests like this HIV test. You make payments over there. You go and do X-ray. You make payments over there. You do and do a drug test. You make payments over there. You go and do what is it called? You go to the immigration office to do the fingerprint and you make payments over there. So these payments are not going to the school, neither are they going to the what is it called? The agencies that probably brought you. So if the agency is asking you to make these payments to them, maybe it is because they want to gather all their students and assist them to make it much easier for them to ascertain this specific document.
Oh, okay. But I was saying that I don't remember us paying any money for the immigration card.
This started for not for this specific card.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I believe if other Nooks people or other Russian students are on the platform right now, they could have testified to that. You would have to make payment for it.
Mr. President,
Okay.
Okay.
if I can contribute to that.
Okay. Yes, please.
So pertaining to that new card system, it was introduced, I think, last year. Yeah. So it was a new law that was brought up by the system so that all foreigners who are living here are supposed to do this. So in order to do that, you have to pay for do a whole lot of medical processes and all this kind of stuff. So after doing all these kind of processes, that's when you'll be able to get, it's kind of a biometric system that they introduce. So when you do that, you'll be able to get the card. So if you are not able to do it, that's when you end up being sent back home and all this kind of stuff. So it's now kind of compulsory for each foreigner living in this country. I don't know if it's quite clear though.
I believe so. I believe so, Honorable. Okay.
Are there any more questions?
Please, does Snooks have a program that connects all the Ghanaian students in Russia? Maybe a yearly program or something.
Okay. Please, the union does have something like that, which is called Congress. We didn't have enough time to be able to go in depth on what the union actually does. The union has committees under them. The union has the Royal Senate. We have it's just like the parliamentary system in Ghana. We have specific committees for specific tasks. We have the National Executive Committee, which include myself and the other national executives, which is the Vice President, the Financial Secretary, the Organizing Secretary, and the General Secretary. So these are basically the pillar of the union. We do actually even have a constitution that we do abide by that assists us or governs us to be or guides us to be able to lead the people in the federation here. Yes, we have a program and it is called Congress. So every year or annually, we organize a Congress in a specific state. Since Russia is very big, when we do the Congress, the invitation is sent out to anybody. So this even allows students to be able to do what have the opportunity to visit other states that in other way they might not have had it on their plans to do what to visit. So last year like this, the Congress was in St. Petersburg. A year before then, the Congress was in Moscow, and I think a year before then as well, the Congress was in Volgograd. So this allows you to be able to attend the annual program that is being organized by the union. So all Ghanaians from different states come to this Congress grounds to meet up, see ourselves, socially engage with each other, and also use that opportunity to do what? To hand over succession to the next executives or the next people in line to lead the union. The union, we do elections annually and we do vote to do what? To elect new executives to represent us. So we use this platform to be able to do all these at the Congress grounds. So mostly it includes something like, apart from the handling over ceremonies, there is always dinners, there are excursions, there are other things we do within that specific state that all Ghanaians from different parts get to that specific state that has been chosen and do what? And do celebrate something like this. Yes, please. So I don't know if this answers the question. Okay. Please, if there are any more questions, I could handle them. If not, I believe time is far spent. We started this program almost 4 hours ago. We started at 9 p.m. and it is almost 11:30 p.m. here in Russia. That is the MSK Moscow time. In Ghana, probably Ghana is Russia leads Ghana 3 hours. So I believe in Ghana it should be I don't know, the time should be around 9 p.m. in
8:53.
Okay, yes. So when we started this program around 6 p.m.
6
So if it
p.m.
is yes, so yeah, definitely we've been able to tackle all aspects of the seminar. Please, the seminar might probably happen again, maybe in the next 3 to 6 months. And if you do get access to this, kindly share to people that probably might want to ask questions. The union as well is also trying to see if we could hold a physical study in Russia seminar in Ghana, meaning we choose a location in Ghana that people can come in physically, sit down, experience, and get to ask speakers these type of questions, not online, but in person, and get the opportunity to even start the application process right there and then. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. And for everyone that has been with us from the beginning, as we started at 6 p.m. Ghana time and we've reached here 8:53 p.m. I would like to thank you. Also, finally, I would like to ask the Vice President to give closing remarks so that we end this whole seminar. So, Miss Mills, Miss Sandra Mills, please kindly give us the closing remarks.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can now hear you.
Sorry. I think I had a problem with my network. Okay. I would like us to pray, I think, or to close the remark. Okay. So basically, I would like to say a very big thank you to everybody that joined us. It's actually been amazing that we are able to share our views, and also I would like to basically thank Mrs. Terry and also Dr. Jesse and also our dear President Mr. Kunde, His Excellency Kunde, and also a very big thank you to our host, Madam Akosia Bima. Thank you so much, and I would like to say a very big thank you to everybody, to our audience who joined in this amazing seminar. It was a very fruitful one. If you have any questions, please kindly send us an email or visit our website and we'll get back to you shortly. We are so grateful for your time and hope we'll have another second seminar and all your questions will be answered. Thank you so much and have a fruitful evening. God bless you. Thank you very much.